Welcome to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, the show where you get the inside access to the best minds in the game. Each week, Chris has the privilege of chatting with top instructors, legendary players, course architects, and industry insiders. If you're looking to improve your game, gain a new perspective, or just hear some incredible golf stories, you are indeed in the right place.
You see, Chris, let me tell you something, I haven't spoken to a press man in my life that is knowledgeable, seriously, as you are. Never.
You do such a great job. It kind of makes me feel good all of a sudden.
You do so much for the game. You're so kind to all of us that are out there in the game. You know, we need more people like you in the game of golf.
Thank you for pressing play. Now, grab your clubs, step up to the tee, and let's get started. This is Next on the Tee.
Hi, folks, and welcome into this week's edition of Next on the Tee, where golf legends live and your game gets better. I'm your host, Chris Mascaro, and it's great to have you with me. So thankful that you're here. I've been looking forward to this edition of the show for quite some time because the quartet that I get to share with you are amazingly great people first, and the stories that they're about to share with you are all off the charts fantastic. We're going to lead things off in the first segment with a local Pittsburgh area director of golf at a course that people in western Pennsylvania are flocking to. The director of golf is Brian Klocek. The course is Totteridge. Brian and I start off by looking back through the great places that he has worked at as he's grown his career. We start by going back to his college days at the Golf Academy of America down in Myrtle Beach, then back up to western Pennsylvania at places like South Hills Country Club, which is just outside of downtown Pittsburgh. Spent a lot of years there, and now, of course, down at Totteridge, which is located down in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And that may sound familiar to folks from outside the area because it's the hometown of recent guest Rocco Mediate as well. The 13th hole there was recently featured by KDKA TV as one of their elite 18 holes in all of western Pennsylvania. So Brian takes us inside all of that, plus some of the other area courses that he really enjoys playing at. So you hear all of that in segment number one. And conversations about Totteridge stay around for segment number two because it's a masterful design by my next guest, Rees Jones. Rees has become such a wonderful friend, a guy I've really enjoyed getting to know over the years. He did some redesign work at Bethpage Black, so I'm sure you saw a lot of that during the Ryder Cup. We certainly talk about that, plus the wonderful co-design job he did up at one of what I consider the top golf destinations in the world, the McLemore. He and our good friend Bill Bergin etched out a couple of masterpieces up there on Lookout Mountain. As you've heard me talk about in the past, the 18th hole on the Highlands course has already been named one of the best finishing holes in all of golf. Now their new course, the Keep, is gaining even more accolades. Rees, who already has his name on 7 U.S. Open sites, 8 PGA Championship courses, 5 Ryder Cup courses, 2 Walker Cup venues, and a President's Cup course, he explains why the Keep is so good that it could be the site of a major here in the not-too-distant future. We also touch on some of my other favorite Rees Jones design courses, the Country Club up in Boston site of the 2022 U.S. Open, Southbridge down in Savannah, home course of Brian Harman, and Falcons Fire in Orlando. Rees is a legend and such a wonderful guy. I know you're really going to enjoy the time we get to spend with him. Then be sure to come back for part two, because another one of my all-time favorite guests, 1978 PGA champion John Mahaffey, makes his 10th visit with me here on the show. And John and I haven't had a chance to catch up since the U.S. Open at Oakmont, which is where he won that 78 PGA. He details the differences in the course then to now. He shares his thoughts on J.J. Spahn's great victory. We then shift over to the Ryder Cup because John was a member of the 1979 victorious Ryder Cup team. So you'll hear about his experiences playing in that event and being paired with Lee Elder and Hale Irwin facing Brian Barnes in the singles, and the pressure he felt on the opening tee shot on Friday. First guy to stick a peg in the ground. Hear what that was like. We also get a couple of great Ben Hogan stories from him as well. And then I round things out by getting the privilege of spending more time with Dr. Russell Levinson. Russ is one of the great people on the planet that you get to spend some time with. So privileged to be able to say that this is the second time I've had an opportunity to do that. The positive vibes and the spirituality that exude from him is amazing, and it comes right through your headphones or your speaker. The last time Russ was on the show, we talked about his book, Witness to Dignity. about the life and times of his friends, former President George H.W. Bush and First Lady Barbara Bush. He's got a new book about to come out titled Witness to Belief, Conversations on Faith and Meaning. In it, he interviews 12 amazing people regarding their faith. We get into the details about his conversations with a few of them, starting with Condoleezza Rice, and then moving on to Denzel Washington, Amy Grant, Jane Goodall, and Dr. Francis Collins. Russ is not only a doctor of divinity, he's obviously a great writer and author, but also a fantastic storyteller. I know he's going to knock your socks off with the stories from this latest book. You'll hear those in the final segment. So, folks, thank you so much for pressing play and taking the journey with me again this week. You know how I like to get things rolling by starting off and ending every show by thanking my friends over at the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. TribLive.com is the leading news website for Western Pennsylvania with news around the clock. Pittsburgh pro sports coverage, a high school sports network, a podcast network, which you can find Next on the Tee on. So go out and bookmark TribLive.com or download the Trip Live app for free and stay up to date with all the news in Western Pennsylvania and this show. I want to welcome a new member to the Next on the Tee family, Sunday Swagger. Tired of boring golf clothes? Sunday Swagger is changing the game with premium performance apparel that delivers the look and feel of $100 polos for much, much less. Never sacrificing on style or comfort, their bold polos, shorts, and outerwear feature four-way stretch and moisture-wicking fabric that moves with you, whether you're crushing drives or crushing happy hour. With over 300 unique designs and vibrant colors, ranging from bestsellers like Jawbreaker to exclusive collaborations with Guinness, Sunday Swagger offers something for everybody. And their matching prints for couples and families with children are flying off the shelves as their most popular styles. You might even recognize Sunday Swagger designs in popular Hollywood movies and TV shows, including Happy Gilmore 2. Sunday Swagger is guaranteed to turn heads and spark conversation. Visit SundaySwagger.com and join the Sunday Club for exclusive drops and member benefits. Sunday Swagger. It's your swagger. Embrace it. Own it. And folks, this year, get ready to experience the game like you've never experienced it before at the Keep. It's the brand new Bill Bergin and Rees Jones co-designed course up at McLemore. Nestled high atop Lookout Mountain, the Keep offers breathtaking vistas that are even more spectacular in person than they are in the pictures and the videos. With its challenging layout and awe-inspiring views, every round there is an unforgettable adventure. Whether you're taking on the signature holes or just soaking in the scenery, the Keep is where your best golf meets nature's finest backdrop. So grab your clubs and join us up at McLemore this year. The Keep is open for preview play and it's waiting for you. But you gotta hurry now because spots and availability are filling up fast. So don't wait. Check out both courses, the Highlands and the Keep, for yourself online at themclemore.com, and then do yourself and your buddies, or yourself and your family a solid by getting your spot reserved now. And experience distance and forgiveness all at once with the new QI35 driver from TaylorMade. QI35 is designed to give golfers more distance from more of the face while maintaining maximized forgiveness through high MOI designs. Whether you're looking for low spin and maximum workability, or easy launch and plenty of adjustability, it's available in low spin, core, and max models. QI35 also has a full assortment of fairway woods and rescues to deliver distance and forgiveness throughout the top end of your bag. Check them all out online at TaylorMadeGolf.com. Now making his Next on the Tee debut with me is Brian Klocek. Let me give you some background on Brian. He's from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, about 41 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. Now lives in Greensburg, which is also the hometown of Rocco Mediate, who joined me a few weeks ago back on season 12, episode number 34. In 2011, Brian became a PGA Class A professional. Graduated back in college from the Golf Academy of America down in Myrtle Beach. After college, he joined Nemacolin Country Club as an assistant professional. Then after that, he became the head golf pro at Valley Green Golf and Country Club, and then on to the Phoenix at Buffalo Valley in Freeport, Pennsylvania. He then spent 8 years as the senior assistant and tournament director at South Hills Country Club right outside of Pittsburgh, and now he's the director of golf at Totteridge Golf Course down in Greensburg. And I couldn't be more honored that I get to spend some time with him this week here on Next on the Tee. Hey, Brian, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the introduction. And just to touch a little bit about my history. growing up in Mount Pleasant, like a lot of young individuals, my parents encouraged me to try out a lot of different sports and just kind of really see what stuck, and tried everything in Mount Pleasant as far as soccer, baseball, basketball. Wasn't the fastest kid, wasn't the you know, wasn't the tallest kid. I really had a love for baseball, and as I was going out for my junior varsity year, I injured my knee. And a really close friend of mine and his mother knew that I was laid up and I missed out on tryouts, and really didn't have anything to do that spring year when I was 15 or 16. So they invited me to come out and play golf with them. I've never tried golf before. And so I went out in a little 9-hole course right down the road from where I live at now called Robert Shaw Acres. We went out and played 9 holes, and I was hooked. And so after that, that was it for me. I decided on playing golf, and the next year when I turned 16, another local golf course in the area, I grew up in Mount Pleasant, Donegal Highlands, started working there as a cart attendant, then moved inside as a shop attendant, and back and forth, really kind of learning the business. And that's when I fell in love with the business, not only just playing golf, but falling in love with the business and meeting people. And that's what led me on to pursuing a career in it.
So at that point, is that what sparked the idea that you wanted to become a PGA professional and teach the game? Was that when it all started at 16?
Yes. I've been in the golf industry since 1999. So everything that I've done has been involved in golf some shape or fashion. Like I said, I started working at Donegal Highlands, got to be really close with the head professional at the time up there, Jeff Mowers, and then I just decided to go on to a school. There was an assistant up there at the time that went to. At that point, there was 4 campuses, the Golf Academy of America. I went to the Myrtle Beach campus. He went to the one in Orlando. And so I decided to do that. Back in those days, they had a lot of schools offered a PGM program. When you got out of the PGM program, you still had to go through the apprenticeship. So I decided to go a little bit smaller business school, and got a 2-year degree in business management with the emphasis on golf, knowing that even when I graduated, I still had to go through the apprenticeship. So I just wanted to get into the workforce as soon as possible. So once I graduated in 2003, I moved back to the area and started working at Nemacolin and Country Club under Rick Beasy.
So when you were at the Golf Academy of America, what kind of curriculum, what are they teaching you when you sign up to go to a school like that?
So currently the school has closed. Now some of the instructors moved to Florida, and they have a school called Keisner Golf Academy now, or Keisner Golf School. And a lot of it is an accredited school, but a lot of the programs, a lot of the classes were all emphasized on teaching golf, how to run merchandising, and coordinating tournaments, running tournaments, and then also how to supervise and delegate staff members and work with customers.
South Hills Country Club is a pretty exclusive club up there just outside of downtown Pittsburgh. Like Oakmont, they're known for their lightning fast greens, but unlike Oakmont, at least in its current form, South Hills has a lot of tree lined holes. Talk about your part, talk about being a part of a club that in Pittsburgh now is over 100 years old and one of the tops in the city.
Yes, I mean, it is a great location, right in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, right in outside of Baldwin and Brentwood. I worked there for 8 years. Under the golf pro of Tony Tracy, who I've learned a lot from. Both facilities where I was an assistant at Nemacolin Country Club, like I mentioned before, Rick Beasy, and learned a lot from him. Even all the schoolwork that I went through, I feel that, not to discredit the school or anything, but I learned so much just in the first month working for Rick. And at South Hills, Tony really helped me craft my skills, working with members, working on budgets with board members and going to committees. And then also he was a great player and really helped me with mental sharpness on the golf course, my short game, Just a great guy to kind of work around, and he has worked with a lot of assistants at South Hills, and even when he was an assistant in Allegheny, there are a lot of people that work for him or either worked with him have went on to be head professionals at other facilities.
You mentioned a lot of names there, Brian. None of us gets to where we are in life on our own. There's a lot of folks that have influenced us and have helped us get to where we are. Who are the people, as you built your career, that really helped you along the way to establish yourself?
Well, the top two names, like I said, I owe a lot of credit to Rick Beasy. He was the first golf professional that I really worked under after I graduated college. And before I took my position at Totteridge Golf Course, working at South Hills with Tony, those were the two standouts. I mean, what really got me in the industry was Jeff at Donegal Highlands. But I could say this for a lot of young individuals out there. Try to spend as much time, if you're getting into the golf industry, spend as much time with your members and spend as much time with your head golf professional as much as possible. Try to absorb everything you can, and also view or go to other golf courses. A lot of times, like when I play in tri-state events or just visit facilities, like I like to just go around and observe things, how they run their outside operations, what fixtures they have in their golf shop, and try to take a lot of those ideas and implement it at Totteridge.
So speaking of Totteridge, and it's close to home for you, the course was designed by my next guest, Rees Jones. Talk about the golf course and what struck you about it when you first got there.
Well, the golf course, like you said, is a Rees Jones golf course. The original owners, the Tanto family, purchased the farm, and the golf course opened in 2001. Tom Tanto owned an irrigation company where he worked on golf courses all over the world, either new golf courses that were being built or reinstalling irrigation systems. Unfortunately, Tom passed away here in February, but just was full of life and just an amazing man. He left Hungary after World War II. Basically like penniless and just really made a name for himself in the golf industry. So he worked with everybody, and your next guest, he worked with a lot of different golf designers, and he always said that him and Rees always had a special bond. And so when he bought this property, he asked Rees, he goes, "Hey, I just bought a 600 and some acre farm out in the middle of Western Pennsylvania, and I really want you to come and design it." So originally, they had a lot of investors, a lot of people from Oakmont, a lot of people from Indiana, and this was going to be the club in Western Pennsylvania. This is going to be like kind of plan B for a lot of people at Oakmont and Indiana. A lot of unfortunate things happened in time. They went through some hardships in 08 and 09 during the housing crisis because it was supposed to be a golf community. They sold to a management company in Texas, and I believe in 2015, the management company was looking to sell out, and at that time, that's when the Tanto family and the current owners, the Sendez family, Patrick and his father, went in partnership with them. And prior to Tom's passing, the Tantos sold their shares to the Sendez family, and that's who currently runs it now. And what really attracted me to the golf course is that the housing project was kind of stagnant there for a while, especially when the management company was running it. But now, since the Sendez family has gotten involved, Patrick has did a great job of trying to sell some of the single family lots and some of the patio homes out of Totteridge, and seeing the growth of that and the community that has grown in the last 5 years since I've been there is just amazing. The golf course is in amazing shape. We draw a lot of traffic from Pittsburgh. To be honest with you, a lot of if you're not a member at a country club in Pittsburgh, there's really not too many options you have. So we have a lot of people that commute. We're almost like as a destination place Friday, Saturday, Sunday and that's kind of what our demographic is on the weekend, is a lot of traffic coming from Pittsburgh. So since that original opening, it was supposed to be ultra private. But now we probably 95% of our business is all daily fee customers.
The 13th hole there was ranked by KDKA among their elite 18 holes in Western Pennsylvania. What makes that hole so unique?
Well, when we filmed with Richie Walsh, the 13th hole is very unique because it can stretch out depending on what tees you play from. It stretches out from anywhere, I believe, like around 460 to almost 350 from our forward tees. So different players can play different tees, have different looks into the hole. It is one of our more challenging holes out there. You hit into a well bunkered fairway where you have to thread the needle between two bunkers, and then at that point you're hitting into another well bunkered green that has two tiers. That normally we have our front location and our back left and right location, and that makes hitting approach shots into the hole. You really have to pay attention. It's very generous off the tee, even though you have to thread the needle through two bunkers, but it is a second shot golf course, and you have to be on the right tiers or you're going to see yourself. Many a times I see a lot of customers come out there and they'll hit 7 or 8 greens and still shoot around 40 because they're not on the right plateaus on the greens.
For folks that haven't been down there to Totteridge, and to your point, if you're not a part of a private club in and around the Pittsburgh area, well, now you've got to make some choices and you've got to find some place. And Totteridge seems like the perfect place as you've been describing it. But tell everyone else about the other holes. What can they expect when they get down there to play?
It is a link style golf course. The front 9 kind of winds through around the clubhouse. The back 9 makes a nice loop through the wooded area. Every hole is different. It is spread out over a few hundred acres, so it's not as condensed as some of these golf courses, some of our competitors in the areas that are just kind of shoved into one box due to real estate constraints. So the golf course is spread out. We don't offer walking because there is a lot of distances between when you finish a hole to the next tee box. We do have some walkers out there, but normally everybody that tries it always comes back and gets a card either after 9 or definitely comes back for the second time. But it is a beautiful layout. It is a Rees Jones golf course, one of the only ones in the area. And it is just a lot of rolling fairways, and it has challenges for every golf ability. We have a lot of colleges that come and use the golf course as a qualifier because we're one of the only golf courses in the area that can stretch out over 7,000 yards. And we just have a few leagues that play out there, both men and women, that just love the golf course for the shape it's in.
Brian, over the last 20 plus years, you've taught several of the top junior players in the Pittsburgh area. Talk about your involvement in junior golf and some of the players you've had an opportunity to work with.
Yes, yeah, it's we've had a lot of like over my career, I've seen a lot of players growing up, and it's kind of like at this point now almost dating myself. I see a lot of players that I worked with earlier on in my career that are now in their 30s and now are married and have kids. I see some of the individuals I worked at South Hills or hung around with in junior camps that were just getting involved in golf that are now top high school and collegiate players. So it has been really nice to see that and see those boys and girls kind of go on to be grown men and gentlemen and ladies, and not only see their improvement in golf, but just see how they are improving in life as well.
Brian, I've said this several times recently, but I think golf in Pittsburgh and throughout Western Pennsylvania, for that matter, is very underrated. For the golfer that's looking for a great place to have their buddies trip, right? Like for me and my buddies, when we want to come up into the area, Totteridge now is one of the places at the top of my list. But just talk about Western Pennsylvania golf. When people think about it, they don't necessarily think about it on the level of golf maybe up in Michigan or down in the South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Georgia, Florida area, but I think it's right on par with every place you can go.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's every level. I mean, we have Oakmont, Laurel Valley, Fox Chapel, St. Clair, South Hills. We have no matter what part of the city you're in, Nevillewood, Pittsburgh Field Club. We have Allegheny Country Club and North Hills. So there's so many great options to belong at a private club, and there are golf courses for every budget and for every ability. And Totteridge being one of them. We kind of see ourselves as one of the top public golf courses in the area. And especially with Greensburg, growing up in this area, we have so many more amenities out this way. We have a few hotels that if you are traveling, we had so many people from the U.S. Open come out to our golf course. And then also with Live Casino now being in Westmoreland Mall, there's a lot of amenities that people kind of make a day out of it when they do visit us out at Totteridge.
Brian, just a couple more before I let you go. And outside of Totteridge, what are some of your favorite golf courses in and around the area that you've had an opportunity to put a peg in the ground in?
I have been extremely lucky with the Tri-State and having a lot of their club professionals offer up their golf courses, and the members in the area offer up their golf courses for having our events on Mondays. Yeah, definitely a lot of the golf courses I worked at have a special place in my heart. Nemacolin Country Club, Donegal Highlands, South Hills Country Club. I just competed in the section championship at Nevillewood. That's in my top 5. The golf course was beautiful. Her superintendent, Brian Flaherty, does a great job. One of the best in the area. I had the pleasure of working with him at South Hills my last couple of years. And then he moved on shortly after I left to go over to Nevillewood. And that is definitely a treat to play. Been fortunate enough to play Oakmont and Laurel Valley, Rolling Rock Club. It's to say that I have one favorite, it wouldn't be fair to the other close seconds.
As we look ahead later this week to the Ryder Cup, got to get your thoughts. What are you looking forward to seeing this year at these matches?
I think this is going to probably be one of the closest matches that we've seen in a few years. I think Europe, with Tommy Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy and John Rahm, kind of this like really peaking here, like towards the end of the FedEx Cup, and Scotty Scheffler, you can't rule him out. So I think we're in for 3 really good days of golf. I know I placed a couple FanDuel bets, and maybe I'll keep those to myself, but and I think it's going to be a tough atmosphere in New York. I remember dating myself when Tiger Woods won in Bethpage Black, and I remember like the heckling that I saw on TV, especially with Sergio Garcia, when he was kind of going through his twitches with regripping, and the crowd kind of yelling out every time he regripped the club, 3, 4, 5. So I think the Europeans are in for a tough ride with the crowd up there. But again, it's going to be a close one.
Brian, before I let you go, let our listeners know, how can they come down there and see you at Totteridge, maybe get a lesson or two, and then follow you online and on social media as well?
Absolutely. You could follow us at totteridge.com. And you could go to our online store. We have golf packages you could purchase on there, golf certificates, and also golf instruction. You could book a tee time online. You could download our Totteridge app, and you could follow along on there with notifications and booking online as well. And please, whenever you do sign up for a Totteridge account, make sure you put in all your information so you get our latest email blast for demo days and promotions that we're going to be having up here in the fall.
Well, Brian, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to come and be a part of the show. You're fantastic, my friend. I hope this is the first of many visits that you'll be with us. I hope we get this privilege with you again soon.
Thank you, Chris. I'd be happy to come back on the show anytime you like.
Take care, Brian. All the best to you and your family. We'll catch up soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
See you, Brian. That is Brian Klocek. Klocek is the spelling of his last name. Totteridge, just a fantastic looking golf course. When I was doing the research heading into the show, obviously being down there in Greensburg, not that far from Pittsburgh, and then having Rocco Mediate on the show, being from Greensburg, not all that long ago. We talked a little bit about Totteridge when he was on. But looking at Brian's career and the things that he has been a part of, the places that he's been a part of, and then taking a listen to all the things that he just told us, I tell you, for the next buddy trip, got to be in and around the city of Pittsburgh. Got to get my friends up there. Totteridge going to be at the top of our list of places we want to go play. Okay, now back in Next on the Tee with me is Hall of Fame course designer Rees Jones. You guys hear me bragging about what a great course the Highlands and the Keep are up at McLemore each and every week here on the show. Rees co-designed both of them along with our good friend Bill Bergin. Let me remind you about Rees's background. He's from Montclair, New Jersey, and he comes from undoubtedly the most talented golf course design family of all time. His father is legendary golf course designer Robert Trent Jones, and both Rees and his brother Robert Trent Jones Jr. have done outstanding new course plus course renovations all over the world. Rees graduated from Yale and did his graduate studies at Harvard. In 1974, he founded his own design firm, Rees Jones, Inc. He has designed or redesigned over 225 courses around the world, including 7 U.S. Open sites, 8 PGA Championship courses, 5 Ryder Cup venues, including Bethpage Black, 2 Walker Cup sites, and a President's Cup site as well. You can also see his work at great places like Torrey Pines or Cog Hill, Oakland Hills, Pinehurst No. 7, and one of my favorites, Oyster Reef Golf Club over on Hilton Head. Rees has won numerous awards, including the 2013 Donald Ross Award from the American Society of Golf Course Architects. He was inducted into the New Jersey Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame in 2012, the Northern California Golf Association Hall of Fame in 2015. He was Golf World Magazine's 1995 Golf Architect of the Year and presented the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America's Old Tom Morris Award back in 2004. And I couldn't be more honored to have him back with me again this week here on Next on the Tee. Hi, Rees. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Always a pleasure to be hanging out with you.
Same here, my friend. So, Rees, I want to start out by getting an update on the new course that you worked on with Bill up at McLemore, the Keep. People are getting their first kind of preview look at the course over the last few months. How do you feel about how it turned out?
Well, it's been open close to a year. It's going to officially open, I think, October 1st. It's meeting all the expectations and probably exceeding them. We just had a whole group of Golf Digest panelists there this week, and it was very well received by them. Everybody that plays it, no matter what caliber player they are, really finds it to be a wonderful experience.
As we talked about last time, you've stated that the Keep could actually host a major one day. Remind everybody about why you feel that way.
Well, we have, several hundred acres. It's a large site. It's a big golf course, much like Bethpage. And it has the length. It has the ebb and flow to it, where there's birdie opportunities, there's swing holes, and then there's the holes that you really want to par. So it could host a major championship, and it may host a PGA Tour event because Chattanooga is not that far away.
And the vistas out there, I had an opportunity to walk the course and ride around with Charlie Reimer not all that long ago, but the vistas out there are some of the most spectacular I've ever seen.
Well, that's the real beauty of it. It's a boutique golf course. I don't think there's any golf course in the world quite like it. We really cleared most of the trees, so we'd have the long vistas to the valley and across miles and miles of valley. And we can, from several holes, you can see all the holes of the golf course. When you start playing it, you kind of anticipate where you're going to go next. Every hole has an individual characteristic, and it has a common theme, and you can actually achieve your goal on it, which is great because it has a lot of shot options.
And several of the holes are right there on the cliff edge, right?
Yes, 8, 9, 10, and then 18 are on the cliff edge. It's much like a Headlands golf course like Pebble Beach. It's instead of an ocean, we got a valley. And it's just when people drive in there, their eyes pop out. It's so spectacular looking.
Rees, the Ryder Cup isn't a major, but it is one of the great events in all of sports. As we look ahead a couple of days to this year's matches, what are you expecting to see from Bethpage Black?
Well, as you may know, I've been getting a lot of interviews, a lot of calls from across the pond. Everybody wants me to predict who's going to win. I think the golf course is going to win. The whole thing. David Fay and I really resurrected Bethpage Black in the late '90s. We rebuilt the golf course, redesigned it, restored it, extended it, expanded it, widened it in areas, narrowed it in areas, rebuilt all the bunkers, and brought it into the 21st century. And it's one of those golf courses which is very difficult, but everybody loves to play it. And the best in the game know what they're getting into, but at the same token, they get the shot, they get the reward or the penalty that they deserve with every shot they hit. So it's a very fair golf course.
What are the keys to actually being able to score well out there? Is it driving the ball straight? Is it the green complexes and putting? What do you think is the key to being able to go out there and tame the course?
Well, it's not set up the way the two U.S. Opens and the 2019 PGA said. It's not set up with a high rough. Keegan Bradley wanted the rough to be at 2.25, 2.5 inches. The greenside rough is maybe 3.5 inches. So it favors the American team to some degree because I think they have a lot more long hitters on their team. So if they hit it in the rough, it just affects their second shot regarding to being able to control the ball more than being able to forward it. But the greenside rough is going to hold the ball closer to the green surface so it doesn't roll out too much and too far away from the target. So there'll be some good recovery shots out of the rough, but it's not going to be too difficult. There'll be a lot of birdies. There's a lot of holes that are really kind of birdie holes. They starts out with several three out of four birdie holes. So you'll see a lot of birdies. And then the middle of the course is the meat of the golf course, and that's where par is going to be a standard.
Rees, for the average golfer, we all know about the warning sign that states that the black course is a very difficult one and recommended for highly skilled golfers. And like any warning sign, right, that makes people want to go out there and see why is it so tough. For those of us who may never get an opportunity to tee it up out there, what does that warning sign mean and why is it so difficult?
Well, I think that sign gets into everybody's head immediately. So they sort of their muscles tighten before they start. But I think the bunkers are 78 bunkers and they're all well positioned. They're very large. So if you mishit the fairway or mishit the green, you're going to have a major bunker shot ahead of you. There's only one water hole that's on the 8th hole, but it's a really great par 3. And I think the fact that when you go offline, you go into the fescue grass, but but Bethpage is a course that's built on sand, so it's really a thin, high, wispy fescue grass, but you have to hack it out. So it's a course where you really have to hit the fairways in order to have the proper shot into the greens. The greens are not that difficult. They're not that contour. There's 6 that have a good contour. There's 6 that have medium contours, and then there's 6 that really have pitch from back to front. So they sort of are suitable for the shot that was required depending on the contour. But because at the high speeds, they're going to run them at 12 to 14 this week in the Ryder Cup, a lot of nuances are in those greens because they've never been touched from the day they were built. And I think you're going to find a lot of putts missed on the high side because they're going to overread them a little bit.
Rees, in the last segment, I was joined by Brian Klocek, who is the head golf professional at another one of your courses, Totteridge, up in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. What do you remember about designing that course?
Well, I designed it for one of my best friends in golf, Tom Tanto, who lives right next door to it. And he was one of the part owners until he passed away a couple of months ago. It was just a wonderful experience because Tom and I were such close friends. And we put our heart and soul into that design. And I think it's been very well received because it's every hole fits the land. Visually, it's exciting. Every green has its own challenge, and the flow of the land was so great that we had an opportunity to have a wonderful routing. A lot of people travel a long way to play Totteridge because it's so well received. So I think they're going to continue to do very well with the amount of play they get. And of course, Rocco's father, Rocco, grew up right there in Greensburg, and Rocco was a big fan of it, and I'm a big fan of Rocco. So that was a nice association. I hope Rocco still stays involved with the club.
Rees, I lived for several years on the South Shore of Massachusetts, heading down towards Cape Cod, and the Country Club is a place we all dreamed of playing one day. I believe that was the first U.S. Open site you did some redesigned work at. It most recently, of course, hosted the U.S. Open in 2022 when Matthew Fitzpatrick won there. Talk about the work that you did there and what makes that course a favorite of the USGA's.
Well, historically, it's one of the top because that's where we met, beat Varden and Ray. And it's they combine the Primrose 9 with the regular 18 to have what they used to call the open course, and now I guess they call it the championship course. It's got a lot of strategy. It's got a total New England look with topography. There's the greens are very intricate and they're not overly large, and it's got a great flow to it. And that was my first U.S. Open redo, and it was a pleasure to work on it. It's a pleasure to go back because it's just a great club.
Your course down in Savannah, Southbridge Golf Club, is the home of 2023 champion golfer of the year, Brian Harmon. He grew up down there. He won the club championship there before he was even old enough to drive. He tells the story of how the club champion gets a preferred parking spot, but since he wasn't old enough to drive when he won, they built him a bike rack. But talk about the course that Brian grew up on.
Well, I built that for a guy named Jim Haslam and another good friend of mine. It's always great to design golf courses for people that you really think so highly of. And it's right near the I-95. It's easy to get to. It's been a great public golf course. I think just the fact that Harmon grew up there, and he still calls it his favorite golf course, which I like to have him talk about it. Kevin Kisner grew up at Woodside Plantation, and Scott Dunlop grew up at Greystone in Birmingham. So it's kind of nice to see these young people develop their skills and become very competent golf course players on the tour.
Another great friend of the show and a top instructor in our game, John Hughes, has his golf school at Falcons Fire in Orlando. It's another one of your designs. I got several friends in and around the Orlando area. Talk about that course and why they need to go check it out.
Well, again, it's another popular golf course. I think the beauty of golf course design, what's happening now, is we're really trying to build golf courses that everybody can really reach their goal, whether a 100 shooter or par shooter. And I think that's what Falcons Fire is all about. It's a golf course that is a little over 7,000 yards, but the same token from the tees and the contouring of the fairways and the greens, every caliber player really has a chance to achieve his goal there. And I think that's why it's been so popular. And it's associated with several of the big hotels, and it gets a lot of play.
Rees, when you first visit a property, how do you go about envisioning what the layout could look like and what the flow of the golf course should be?
That's a great question. Every site is different. When you get a site like McLemore, you have to be very careful that you route the golf course correctly and optimize the site. And I think when you go to McLemore, you'll see what Bill Bergin and I really thought as we went through the whole process of locating the holes. I think nobody really emphasizes in the writings about golf course architects the routing and how the holes flow and how they connect and how they use the natural resources of the site. I think that's what we look at first. We find out what's the natural characteristic that we can really utilize to optimize this design, whether it be streams, the lake, the cliffs, wetlands, rock outcrops. And I think that's what McLemore has. And I think that's why that's such a great routing. And that's why people find it to be one of the great routings. But the routings are hard to achieve. But when you have a large site like a McLemore, it's not that hard. But then you have a lot of choices, and you have to ultimately make your final choice on the routing. And that's the hardest part.
Rees, I look at you as kind of like an artist carving out a golf course on a land canvas. Are you ever the frustrated artist when you look back at a hole or a golf course that you've done? Do you ever kind of look back and say, "Ooh, I wish I could have done, if I could have that over, I'd like to have that one back"?
Well, I have at times. And when I first got into the business, I was definitely a minimalist. Then I started getting a project around flat land where I had to move more earth. and then I go back and look at my minimalist golf courses and say maybe I should have moved a little more earth and made a few more dramatic. But then I go back after 10 years after that, and the minimalism comes back, and I say, oh my goodness, I'm glad I did what I did. So every step of the way, taste change, design styles change, and I think that we just have to keep pace. But the one thing we have to do, we have to make sure the golf course is manageable, playable, and enjoyable, so that it is successful and people enjoy playing it time and time again.
Have you ever run into unforeseen challenges during the process of building out a course, like the amount of rock that you might have run into when you were doing McLemore and the Keep? Are there things that have popped up that have surprised you along the way that you didn't anticipate?
Not that we didn't anticipate. McLemore was a wooded site with second growth trees that weren't very substantial. It unfolded itself when we cleared the trees. So I think, like when we discovered the 11th hole, which was just like a natural setting surrounded by rocks, we were staggered by what we found and what we had routed. Sometimes when you clear a site, it unfolds things that are absolutely spectacular. Other times, it makes you realize you got to change your routing. So I think when you have a heavily wooded site that you have to clear, what you just suggested might happen. You have to change pace, and a new golf course requires on-site supervision so you can make all those changes on site. A remodel, you sort of know what you have to do ahead of time because it's open to your eyes and you see what you have to do. So most of your original ideas are what you follow to get the final product.
Were there any courses that you designed that when you went back and it was done that actually turned out better than you thought at the beginning?
Well, it's not what I think that matters. What really matters is the people that play it. And I think what I've really been pleased about with like Kohana Ike in Hawaii or Cascada and Rio Seco in Las Vegas or Quintero in Arizona or some of the like Sacanesset and Nantucket. I've been very, very fortunate to have great sites. And I, because I'm so hands-on, I optimize these great sites. So I look back on my career and I say, thank goodness I had such great sites, and I really did the most with them.
What are some of the great things? I have to imagine when you're done and you're out there with the membership and walking the course or riding around on the golf course that people have said some pretty incredible things to you. What are some of the really nice things that someone has said to you about one of your designs that has always stuck with you?
Well, I just did a course over called Addison Reserve, and it's been so well received by the members. But I had two guys that were the thorn in my side. And when we redid the first 9, he had his ideas of what we should do or what we should have done. Then when I finished the second 18, the greatest compliment I got from him was he said, "It looks like you listened to what I said," which is kind of funny. So that was like, for that guy, that was like the ultimate compliment.
Going back to McLemore, the 18th hole at the Highlands course has been named one of the best finishing holes in all of golf. Where does it rank for you?
Oh, it's right there. Bill Bergin and I knew what we had. We talked Dwayne Horton and the owners there into building that new hole because we knew it's like Dan Zante's Bay's 17th hole. We knew we had a spectacular piece of ground to build a spectacular cliffside hole, and it's really exceeded everybody's expectations. And the great thing about the Highlands course is it's a great golf course that fits the land so well. It's a true mountain golf course. But when they get to that 18th hole, they got to earn their round because it's got a lot of pitfalls.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Just a couple more before I let you go, Rees. I know Jack Nicklaus has put together several courses, Bears Best. There's one here in Atlanta, one out in Las Vegas. Have you ever thought about doing Rees Jones Best, maybe coming, your 18 favorite holes, 18 favorite layouts and putting that together somewhere?
I think that'd be a great idea. I think at the Breakers Hotel, I built the Oceanside course, which is on a smaller piece of property. And I built some phenomenal green complexes on that shorter golf course. Then out west, I built the golf course there where they host the PGA tournament qualifying site, and they call that the Breakers Rees Jones course. And I'll tell you what, if I'm associated with a hotel that's probably the number one family-owned hotel in America, to have the Breakers Rees, my name associated with the Breakers, that's almost enough for me. I mean, my father was lucky to have Robert Trent Jones Trail. I've never really thought I never really wanted to name a golf course after me, but to be associated with the Breakers in that fashion has really been a pleasure for me.
So update us on some of the projects you're working on now.
Well, we've got a new one in Puerto Rico. We got one in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We're about to complete. We have another one in Costa Rica. We're about to start. We've just done a lot of work in Quintero. We're doing a lot of redo courses in Florida. We're really building courses for the ground game and the aerial game. And we're about to start one in Tennessee, and we got a spectacular site in New York. So the future looks bright for Rees Jones Inc.
How can our listeners stay up to date with all the great things you're out there doing, whether they're following you online or is there a way to do it on social media?
I'm really not on social media, but they go to my website and I answer everything anybody asks me. So if they have any questions, I think just go to my website and ask a question and you'll hear back from me.
Well, Rees, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to come back and be a part of the show. You're one of my all-time favorites, Rees. I can't thank you enough for all that you've meant to me in this show over the years and for coming back and doing it again tonight.
Well, you're very good at what you do, and I really appreciate it. And I love being on your show.
I appreciate you, Rees. Take care. All the best to you and your family. I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks a lot. See you.
See you, Rees. That's the great Rees Jones, folks. They don't come better than that guy. I tell you what, as a talented golf course designer, just as a human being on the planet, they just don't come any better than him. He has meant a tremendous amount to me over the years. This is the 8th time I've had the privilege of getting to spend some time with him. When you're in the Hall of Fame for what you do, it's, and there's no accident that Rees Jones is at the top of the list of Hall of Famers, of course, designers. I mean, look, 7 U.S. Open sites, 8 PGA sites, 5 Ryder Cup sites, including this one at Bethpage, 2 Walker Cups and a President's Cup. And then on top of that, you layer in all the other great courses, like I mentioned in his intro, Torrey Pines, Cog Hill, Pinehurst number 7. I tell you what, Oyster Reef Golf Club, if you're on Hilton Head or you're going to go on vacation to Hilton Head, you've got to play Oyster Reef. That place is beautiful. An outstanding layout, very challenging. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Played there with my father and my son, so it just doesn't get any better than that. And when you're playing with family and you're playing with 3 generations and you're playing a Rees Jones course, boy, it's just hard to beat that for a day. And then, like I say, as you guys know, McLemore is one of my favorite places on the planet. The Highlands is tremendous. The Keep is even taking that to another level. The 18th at the Highlands course. If you haven't seen it, go out to McLemore.com. Check it out. You're going to see why it's rated one of the best finishing holes in all of golf. Not just in the state of Tennessee, not just in the Southeast or our country, in the world. You'll understand why. And then I can't wait to get back out there and play the Keep. Once I get this cast off, that's the goal. So anyway, hopefully we get the opportunity to catch up with Rees again before too long. All right, my friends, it is time for me to put a bow on part 1 of this week's show. My sincere thanks to Brian Klocek and Rees Jones for making it so much fun to be a part of. I hope you enjoyed the stories and the insights from 2 guys that are just fantastic human beings. And on top of that, great for our game. Now, come back for part 2. Now, you're not going to want to miss John Mahaffey and Dr. Russell Levinson. Now, both of these guys, again, like I said at the top, I've been looking forward to this week's show for a long time because of how great these folks are and the great stories they have to share. John Mahaffey is going to take us back to his Ryder Cup experience. He got to play and won victorious back in 1979. You'll hear all about that. Plus, we revisit Oakmont and the U.S. Open and his experience winning the PGA Championship there in 78, and then what he saw from this year's U.S. Open and J.J. Spahn. And then Dr. Russell Levinson. Russ, the spirituality and the positive vibes are going to come oozing through your speakers when you listen to Russ. He's just one of those people that brings you something very special, and he awakens something inside of you when you hear him speak. He's a wonderful speaker. And then he talks about his new book that's about to come out, Witness to Belief, Conversations on Faith and Meaning. and the interviews that he got to do. You're going to hear a little bit about Jim Nantz. You're going to hear about Condoleezza Rice. You're going to hear about Denzel Washington, Amy Grant, Jane Goodall, Dr. Francis Collins. You're really going to enjoy it. Russ is just one of the best individuals on the planet. So 2 great ones led off the show. 2 more great ones are going to come your way in part 2. I know you're going to love it. Folks, thank you so much for continuing to make Next on the Tee a part of your weekly golf content. Until next time, hit 'em straight, my friends.
Thanks for joining Chris again this week on Next on the Tee. We hope you enjoyed the conversations as much as we did. Please share the show with your golf buddies and be sure to follow it on Trib Live or your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Thanks for pressing play and being part of the journey. We'll see you next week, right here, where the best minds in golf share their stories.